Back in '49, this camp map straight up vanished. Only catch is, the camp didn't even exist. They called it the White Ring. No walls, no fences, just pure sound. A frequency so wild they couldn't even record it. Folks there just stopped talking. We're talking a tower where even the dogs would lie down and never get back up. The USSR tried to lock up that voice, but it low-key escaped into subspace. Then, in 2003, it popped back up from the Kara Sea. The signal matched some ancient rune found inside a gramophone under the Urals. They switched it on, and since then, like 1% of people hear this infinite staircase in their dreams. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button to find out what other shady stuff they're hiding from you. The receipts were sitting in a classified NKVD vault. Why was this file a no-touchy zone, even in '79? You ever heard of a guy's ears straight up bleeding in 3 minutes flat with zero physical contact? Or him whispering in some language he never even learned? And then going radio silent forever? That's the messed up stuff medics were logging in Ring B, but officially that zone was a total ghost. Not a single Gulag archive, map, or classified ledger had a damn thing on it. Empty, except for the back of one wax-sealed letter marked for Central Committee, Eyes Only, which had this creepy note. The exposure happened again, windows shattered, Sector 3B went dead silent. Stalin's demanding a retune. They aren't fitting into the schedule, even with a fight. They dug up this letter in '91, the night of the coup, in a pitch-black room with nothing but a flashlight. The guy who opened the folder got a stroke and died 4 days later. But here's the kicker. Every single audio recording from that room was completely blank. The tape was spinning, but there was zero sound. What were they trying to catch? What was Sector 3B that had them so shook? And why was playing these sounds for more than 17 seconds a massive hell no? Let's start with the basics. You ever wonder why the USSR straight up banned certain frequencies on the airwaves? And not because of some military secret, but because after '49, people started mass reporting auditory hallucinations. Folks described some voice low-key whispering in their ear. And we're talking simultaneously in Vorkuta, Tyumen, and even Murmansk. This isn't some spooky creepypasta. It's literally written down in MGB reports from that year under the classified label Spike in Psychiatric Anomalies in Northern Zones. It straight up says, consciousness fluctuation effect is highly active. Subjects lose orientation and freeze up like they're waiting for orders. They weren't just waiting. They were being talked to. Super quiet, super precise. Now get this. The only surviving sound wave diagram from back then matches the signals caught by a Soviet probe on the dark side of the moon in '72. Coincidence? Then tell me how everyone within a 300-meter radius of the White Ring Tower started dreaming the exact same dream a few hours later, across different corners of the country. They all saw a white, endless staircase, steps thumping like drums, and some ancient Aramaic song playing far away. You can call it a fluke, but when the exact same details match up for 432 prisoners, 73% of whom couldn't even read or write, and 11 who were mute from birth, that's not a fluke. That's a system update. Ring B wasn't even a camp in the usual sense. No solitary cells, no prisoner transfers, nobody sent there on paper. People just vanished. And we're talking only guys with degrees in acoustics, field theory, and engineering. On paper, they were reassigned under Plan 27 Sound. You won't find this plan in any archive, but it pops up in the notes of a famous Soviet physicist, A.P. Maltsev, the guy who first claimed you could bend space with sound. Now for the craziest part. When he bit the dust, they found a plate in his lab engraved with, changing frequency means changing time when the medium's resistance is 0. That formula is straight up impossible. It breaks physics, but that's the tech Ring B was running on. They were hunting for a sound that could literally compress time. While you're processing that, ask yourself one thing. Why in '73, 20 years after they shut down all Gulag special sites, did radio signals suddenly die around the Katanga estuary? We're talking a 90-kilometer blackout zone, like someone flipped a giant jammer. But it wasn't a jammer. It was an anti-wave. That exact word, anti-wave, first shows up in the report 17B75. Фаза встречного сигнала поглощает весь спектр, возникает в ведомостях карман, в котором не фиксируется ни движение, ни свет, ни звук. На 12-й секунде доброволец исчез. Через 41 секунду появился, постаревшим на 13 лет. Now guess who was running this experiment? Answer: the same Colonel Volsky who curated the White Ring back in '48. The connection is obvious. Volsky actually wrote this down once. This isn't sound, it's a command, ancient, pre-language, the one that boots up an algorithm built into us before writing even existed. He didn't say who installed it, but now you see we're not just talking about psycho weapons. They were trying to trigger something that's already inside our hardware. And every time the frequency hit that sweet spot, the same thing went down. Silence. Heavy. Impossible. The kind of silence that literally hurts your eyes. That's not some poetic BS. That's a direct quote from exam log 44-GZK. In that spot, even the water in a glass stopped vibrating. You couldn't even drag a dog in there. Animals would just flop down and never get up. Why do you think? That's only 7% of the whole picture. What the acoustics guys caught, you'll find out in a bit. But only if you're still paying attention, because 99% of people bail before this part. If you're still here, you've already caught a piece of this sound. And if you've actually seen that staircase in your sleep, drop 777 in the comments. We'll check the overlap. Just don't leak your location, not even as a joke. There's this device you literally can't take a photo of. Not because it's invisible, but because any camera nearby fries instantly, even if it's powered off. Only a tiny circle knew about it. They called it the Velsky plate. At first, they thought it was just some scrap metal from a German radar. But later, they realized the metal is totally off the charts, and the structure is acoustically self-generating. Basically, it auto-tunes to the frequency of space itself. Not a metaphor. That's a copy-paste quote from the Academy of Sciences report in '51. The object doesn't react to sound, but to its potential presence within a 6-kilometer radius. In total silence, it enters oscillation mode. Spectrum normal. Power output uncalculable. Verdict: quarantine immediately. Lock it up, but don't scrap it. They shipped it to Lab 73, the one micromanaged straight from Ring B headquarters. Officially, they were working on soundproofing tech for the Arctic. In reality, they were building acoustic traps, cages where sound could check in, but it could never check out. How's that work? You take a specific build, metal, granite, wood, tune it to ring at a certain frequency, put the source inside, and in 11 seconds, the sound vanishes from the recording. But not from space. It stays there like a spell, like a living thing. That's exactly what went down in December '72. Military engineer Sakharov, the guy running experiment 044, walked into the chamber with the specimen. All he had to do was scratch a mark on the casing. At 9 seconds, every sensor logged a massive 127 decibel acoustic spike. At 14 seconds, Sakharov vanished. 41 minutes later, he came back, alive, but his hair was bone white, and he kept repeating one line: "It's singing, it's all singing, but not in our timeline." That line was the cheat code. After that, they greenlit Operation Glass 9, a run of 17 experiments with locked sound. During the 7th session, the thing happened that they officially sweep under the rug. The Velsky plate cracked. Not from pressure or heat. The chamber was dead silent. But the log clearly states, right before the break, every shadow in the room stretched by 4 to 7 centimeters simultaneously. The light didn't change, but the shadows grew longer, like time took a deep breath and froze. That's literally what's written. No comments, no conclusions, just a signature. Scrapping forbidden, keep in a shielded cell, access only with the passcode. The iron is singing. Now think back to '77, when 3 ham radio operators caught some singing metal in Yamal. They thought it was some geological glitch. A week later, one got lost in the woods, the second turned up dead, and the third got total amnesia. And get this, his tape recorder only had one fragment, a low, vibrating rumble, and then a woman's voice singing an old Slavonic chant in the rhythm of a heartbeat. You get what that means? Sound isn't just vibes. It's a key to our perception algorithm. When it hits that resonance, your internal clock gets completely wrecked. You either hear the future or you get trapped in the loop forever. But here's the heavy part. Everyone who made it back from those dead zones said the exact same thing, no matter how old they were or what they did for a living. They saw a mirrored staircase covered in ears. Yeah, cut-off ears, and everyone recognized their own. Freud would call it collective hysteria, but the shrinks examining them had a different theory. Their acoustic circuits got unsynced, meaning they were hearing different layers of reality. One of them, Lieutenant Sakharov, could hear recordings of future chats a whole day before they happened. He wrote down 41 of them, and 38 matched word for word. The last one hasn't happened yet. He says, "When the sound comes, you'll be gone. Only the stairs and the voice, the stairs and the voice, the stairs and then it cuts off." The tape literally melted inside its sealed capsule. They found it by accident in '74 during a drilling mission on the northern ridge of the Urals. Geologists clocked a void under the rock, a perfect sphere. Inside was a chamber 17 meters wide, no doors, no cracks, zero signs of entry. Right in the center, a device looking like a gramophone, just without the horn or the needle. Instead of a record, it had a slick black surface like obsidian. The casing had 13 symbols engraved on it, and none of them matched any known alphabet. Later, linguists called them runes without signal, runes that don't read, they ring. Every frequency is a doorway. 2 guys tried to copy them. One died in his sleep, the other went completely mute. When they tried to make him write it down, he just scribbled, "I heard it, it's here." Since then, they've called it the phonotomb, a vault where the sound is alive, waiting and calling. Now, for the big one. The phonotomb isn't just some tech. It's a resonant matrix built with some non-human logic. It doesn't send sound, it triggers it inside you, echoing with what's already there. Sounds crazy? Then explain how people within a 12-kilometer radius of the device suddenly remembered childhood memories they never actually had, spoken languages they didn't know, and kept hearing the exact same line in their heads. Stairs, footsteps, step up. This is where the zone begins. A zone that even the FSB whispered about. Operation Orpheus, a black-budget project to crack the phonotomb. A squad of 11 experts, all with PhDs in acoustics, theology, and cognitive linguistics. The goal, reconstruct the sound of the 7th rune. After 49 days, the entire team vanished. At the same time, from different rooms, zero evidence left behind. On the lab wall, just one message scratched with fingernails. It started singing. We couldn't get out. What was it singing? To whom? And here's the real mind-blower. The archives saved a single scrap of the decoded 7th rune's sound wave pattern. It's not a frequency, it's a beat. 13 thumps with intervals matching a human heartbeat during sleep. You get what that means? The rune doesn't play a sound, it hacks your breathing, and with every breath out, it becomes a voice. Yours. Now think. Why did pre-sleep auditory hallucinations suddenly skyrocket after 2007 in people who've never even heard of the phonotomb? Why did they accidentally catch a 13-step beat signal on 77.7 megahertz in Syktyvkar in 2020? And the broadcast cut off with a scream that doesn't match any sound database on Earth. Why are people dreaming of stairs more than ever? Only now they're pitch black and leading down. The phonotomb is waking up. This isn't just an artifact. It's a live recording, not of your past, but of your end. How many people made it this far? Statistically, 1%. If you're here, you're carrying a piece of it. You've already heard the beat, even if you didn't realize it. Now your brain is looking for the sequel. Your ears are waiting for the cue. Share this with anyone who's seen the stairs and comment 13. If we get over 213 hits, I'll activate the final part. It'll have a recording you won't hear, but that will hear you. The first logs of the silent voice go back to 1912, in the diary of V.G. Gnedic, a literary scholar and member of the Academy of Sciences. He describes a weird state. It feels like there's a voice in the dim light, but it's not outside me. It's inside. It doesn't talk. It's waiting for me to become its speech. They found this note inside a copy of the Odyssey printed with zero publisher info. Inside was an insert, a sketch of a 13-step staircase marked F019. A match with the Karasi frequency 91 years later. How is that even possible? Now for the stunt that even Orpheus 2 and the Central Research Institute 33 nixed. In 2021, a group of indie acoustics guys in Tomsk tried to reconstruct a piece of the silent beat with zero high-tech gear. No phonotune, just 13 intervals, 4 to 7 seconds between thumps, and an audio program built using biosynthesis. What happened? 17 seconds in, power in a 300-meter radius went completely dead, phones froze, gear melted. The mic recorded pure silence, but one of the guys whispered, "I see them." Who? The answer came later. He started drawing on the floor, the walls, his skin. Staircases everywhere, but now with hands. Hands reaching from the inside. They were calling, waiting. On his neck, a mark just like the Romanian witnesses from 2004. Only this time, not just one. They went in a circle, like they were wrapping around something that's still asleep. Now for the key. Under the second layer of the phonotune's casing, they found another disc. It wasn't spinning. It was totally still, but it was tracking breath. If anyone who dreamed of the stairs got close, the disc started vibrating, softly, low-key, but in perfect sync with their pulse. They tried to record it, but the recording ran backward. Words flipping, sentences forming before they were even spoken. On the flip side of the tape, there was a single sentence. The voice was always here. We're just its recording. It's just remembering us. Now you get it. This isn't a legend. It's not an experiment. It's a wiretap. You think you're listening, but they're the ones listening to you. And the stairs aren't going anywhere. They lead back. Back to the place you were before you had a name, before you had a body, when you were still just sound, a little piece of rhythm in the echo of something ancient. Now you know too much, too deep, and there's only one way out. Share this with someone who's heard it too and comment, "I heard the staircase. There were 13 steps. They're still walking."